Hey, would you open to John 15 while he does that? In fact, why don't you stand with him as well? Open to John 15 and let's stand as he reads this morning.
Okay. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in me. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete.
As the Father's loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. Hang on to that line today. Thank you for reading it, Devin. Travis, thanks for giving announcements. Listen, I'm big on you need to hear more than one voice. If you'd like to start a service, you have something you want to share for worship, let me know. If you want to offer prayer on behalf of the congregation, let me know. If you want to read scripture, let me know. If you want to preach, let me know. And whatever. But I think it's good to hear more than one voice. And so I love when I get to hear others be reading scripture and sharing this. Um, what series are we in right now? Can anybody tell me? It's always a dangerous question to ask. The heart of the Father, you could just look at your worship folders and you would have had the answer, but everybody just stared at me blankly, saying, Don't look at me. The heart of the Father. We're in a series, The Heart of the Father. 2 weeks ago, we started on this, and the reminder was that the heart of the Father is for you, like a heart that is pursuing you. We can't let that slide. I think we need to understand that the Father pursues us to the point that he will leave 99 others for us if that's what he needs to do. Because the heart of the Father is for you and for me and for everybody else that was created. His desire, as Todd Boyle shared with us last week, is to actually adopt us into his family, to be part of his family, not to save us, not to all these things we like to go, because, that's all part of the package, but his heart is to pursue us so that we can live with him and be part of his family. It's not a salvation for someday when we die and we have that choice to make of heaven or hell. It's so that we can live with him now all the way into eternity as part of his family. The way that he originally designed it to be when he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day with those that he breathed life into and created from the dust of the earth. That is the heart of our Father. And we're going to stay on that today, but I want to do it by first telling you about two couples. Two different couples went to the same concert, similar stories, but just a little bit different. I'm going to tell you about them. They're at this concert where the arena was alive. Let me just ask this. Who's been to a concert in the last month? 2 months? Two of you? Three of you? Last 6 months? Okay, we're getting there. Last year? Kind of got a feeling what probably depends on the concert you went to, huh? That you went to, what kind it is. Leanne and I were just talking about I like Toby Mac. I was a big fan of DC Talk back in the day. He's coming up in concert here pretty soon. A bunch of those guys are going to be in the area. She's like, "You want to go to the concert?" I said, "Man, I got concerted out when I did youth ministry. I don't really care to go because I'm just getting old, I guess, and I like listening to them on the radio instead. But I really like them. But it's hard to go to concerts, so I'm trying to ask that because I want you to picture the last time you're at one, what the atmosphere was like. Again, it depends on the kind of concert, but this one here, the arena was alive. There was thousands of people who were packed shoulder to shoulder. The concert got ready. They'd done the pre-stuff. They'd done the warm-up artists, the ones that came in and introduces like does their stuff that everybody doesn't really listen to just to kind of get their name out there and warm up for the main event. And then all of a sudden, the light dimmed and boom, the stage lit up as the band launches into their opening song. The bass is thumping so hard that you can feel it in your chest. The crowd begins screaming because they know the song and they sing the first line back to the lead singer. I mean, this place is ready to roll. And in that moment, it just feels like the whole place is caught up in one heartbeat because music often has a way of doing that, drawing strangers together, making you feel like you're part of something bigger. They knew that they were in an amazing moment, a special moment, a memorable moment, an impactful moment, an emotional moment. This is all happening. This concert has begun. They've been anticipating it. They're excited about it. And that's what I want to tell you about two couples. Because in the midst of this context, the first couple met right there in the middle of it all. As the music started and the crowd started surging forward, he actually bumps into her on accident, and they both laugh as he catches her drink before she spills it. I mean, they're in the midst of this chaos. She's trying to hang on, and they just get that fun little, cute little giggle laugh as they bump into each other in the midst of this emotional, amazing moment. And soon, before they realize it, they are singing side by side, shouting every chorus, raising their hands in unison. They laugh, they dance. Throughout this concert, they snap photos when the fireworks blast for the encore. It was like a movie moment. I mean, this night could not be any better. There was a connection made between the two of them. And by the end of the show, they walk out together, buzzing with excitement. And the night goes on from there, and I'll just leave that to your imagination as they go home. That's couple number one, together. The second couple's at the same concert just a few rows away. They meet up. During one of the slower songs, when the band drops the volume and the crowd hushes to sing softly, they find themselves standing next to each other. Their voices blending with the thousands around them. But between the songs, they just kind of begin to notice each other. They ask a question, they kind of tell a joke, and they start making this connection, and eventually they just kind of start talking. They talk about the music, they talk about their favorite bands. They've even kind of gotten into life a little bit as they ask each other who they are and about each other and what their names are. When the show ends, they leave together as well. They leave under the glow of the neon lights on the street, but it's a little different. They don't go home. Instead, they leave together and they go grab a dessert and a coffee, and they keep the conversation going strong through the rest of that night. Both these couples began in the same place, drawn together by the emotion of the music and the excitement of the moment, but that's where their paths split. They both stayed connected, but the first couple did so after that time by just sending a few texts. They shared a few texts together. They made a couple phone calls. They share a couple likes together on social media. And they meet up together for a few more special, magical moments. Just leave it to imagination. That's their relationship. That's what they do. The other couple stays connected more regularly. At first, they just have fun. They're sharing playlists with each other after the concert. They're joking about other concerts. They do share likes on social media, but they start just spending some time together. Not just in the exciting moments, but in ordinary ones. They call each other and they meet up and they, again, go to a coffee shop. Sometimes they stay there, or they just are like ones like, hey, you want to meet up? I got some studying to do, but you want to go? Just go, and we can talk, and we can study together. We can have a coffee. And so they just share late-night study sessions together. Sometimes they're just there, just sitting quietly side by side. A lot of times it wasn't anything thrilling. They were just together, talking when it was time to talk, not when it wasn't. And sometimes it was even boring, but they did it. They stayed there. They did these things regularly. together. These are the two couples. I'm not going to tell you how either story actually turned out for those couples, but I do have a question. Which relationship, which connection, which couple, whatever you want to say, which relationship would you say was laying a foundation to endure? Not just in the excitement of the moment, but in the long run. If you're hearing about these stories and you had to guess which relationship 5, 10, 15 years down the road was going strong and enduring, which one do you think was building towards something deeper and sustainable and real? Number 2, right? We know that. We get that. The first one was exciting. It was pleasurable. They had some amazing, well, at least in their mind, amazing moments together as they hooked up and had their times. But that was it. The second one was kind of boring at times. It was mundane. It was just life. It was just going through life. But it was building. I think we knew the answer to that because we know how relationships work. We know how solid, sustainable, real relationships work. Even in the midst of all the stuff that's shared with us, we know. But for some reason, this is why I share this, as we talk about the heart of the Father. Some reason, we seem to think the rules change when it comes to the relationship with God and the relationship He desires to have with us. For some reason, when it comes to this idea of God wanting to have a relationship and how to build that strong, solid, sustainable relationship with Him, we act as though those rules change. It's actually kind of crazy how often we meet Him in powerful, emotional experiences. A camp, a convention, a concert, an encounter, a church service, which is all a beautiful start, but then it just ends there. And the connection stays shallow. And we jump from one emotional event to another emotional event to another emotional event, and we go to every camp and every convention and every encounter and every church service and everything that can emotionally give us that exciting, pleasurable feeling again, and say we're trying to build this relationship with Him. Trying to keep the energy going. We're trying to keep it exciting. We're trying to keep it fresh, and we live that way, but when the routine of life kicks in and the music fades out, so does the relationship. And we find ourselves alone or in the mundane of life going, I don't know if I want this. Because we've changed the rules for some reason when it comes to relationship with God. And the thing that we know works in a physical, real-life relationship, no matter how it starts, we act like doesn't work in our relationship with Him. Not only is it crazy how much it happens, it's crazy how much we're okay with it. And what we tend to forget is that He's not. Not because He's an angry God who is mad at us, but because He has the heart of a Father who not only pursues us wholeheartedly, but who also desires to develop the relationship in ways that we cannot even imagine. He isn't a Father that's just trying to meet us in exciting, emotional moments to make that connection and let us know that He wants to be with us. He is a Father who wants to walk closer with us each and every day in a growing, mundane, day-to-day, over and over, real, sustainable relationship. He has a heart that just wants to keep the music going that way. And as we consider the heart of the Father, I think we need to be reminded of this. And this is why I actually think Jesus, as He's about this passage that Devin just read for us, this is a moment in Jesus' life where His earthly time is about to come to an end. These are some of His last words. Right after this, He prays to the Father. But before this, He's talking to His disciples. He's talking to those that He's called to come and follow Him and to do life with Him. That He's just said, hey, come, follow me, walk with me, do life with me. This is who He is talking to. And again, it's one of His last messages that He shares with them. And I asked the youth this the other night in our conversation. When someone is sharing the last words, what does that usually mean? Is there any significance to those words? Yeah. Usually the last words, if we have an opportunity to share, are words that we want to hear, to get. That's why very rarely are the last words going to be, please clean the house. Or please make sure I shut off the lights. Or please make sure there's not a toilet ring in the toilet bowl. Might be me when I do that with my kid. But everybody else, if the last word that she's giving me the look, that's why I said that. It's not little things, it's something that's deep, that's heavy on our heart. The last thing, if we get that opportunity to share with someone we want them to hear, is what is so important to us. And so you are literally hearing the heart of the Father through Jesus' words that Devin read in full, but we see at the center of all, where he just says, remain in me, as I also remain in you. This is his desire. I'm going now, guys. My physical body's going. I'm leaving my spirit to be with you so that you can do this. But here is what I desire. Hey, guys, we've had this amazing connection. We met. We've had amazing moments. You've seen me work miracles. We've had the mountaintop experience. We've had the transfiguration where you just wanted to build a tent and stay in that. And there's a whole other message on that. But he said, but we got to keep going. You've walked with me through the mundane times of life. You've walked with me through the exciting times of life. In fact, I was thinking of this week. Jesus' ministry lasted 3 years. It's believed 3 years. If my math is correct, at 365 days for 3 years, we don't know if it was exactly 3 years. Let's just pretend like it was. But if it's 365 days at 3 years, that's 1,095 days. I promise you, we don't have every one of those days written down in these Gospels. And part of me is because I wonder if there's just nothing to write about some days. Because it was just a day with him. It was just a walk. In fact, I was visiting with Pastor Robbie this week on something that we were discussing, and he goes, you know, if you really think about it, Jesus' ministry was super inefficient because he had to walk everywhere, and he didn't have a cell phone to text or anything, so they literally had to walk and wait and walk and wait. And he goes, I wonder how many days the disciples are like, what are we doing today? Oh, now we're just eating? All right. And it was just boring, mundane, but he's like saying, do it with me. He'd been telling them that for 3 years. And then every once in a while, boom, you get to experience something awesome when you remain with him. So it makes sense that the last thing on his heart would be remain in me as I remain in you. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. So remain in my love. He says, I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. So the last thing I want you to hear, the thing that is on my heart, is that I want you to stick this out. Because that's when you'll experience the genuineness and the joy of this relationship in the day in, day out, mundane life. Now again, he said a lot more words, but that's the heart of it. You hear the heart of our Father. Remain in me, remain in me, remain in me. The King James Version actually switches out the word remain for the word abide, which is actually closer to the definition of the actual word that was written when it was originally written. So really, he's just saying, abide in me. Abide in me. And you can hear and feel the relational aspect of abide in me. The bottom line is that God, through these words of Jesus, wants us to continue to be with him, in relationship with him, in a growing relationship with him. The heart of our Father desires the heart of what anyone in a relationship desires with us. Time, presence, communication, and connection. He's not into affairs. He's not into hookups. He's not into just exciting moments. He just wants time. He wants presence. He wants communication. And he wants connection. And the last thing he prays or shares with his disciples is that they would just keep growing in him for that. At the core of his heart, the pleas to remain or to abide, that's what it's all about. It is a thought he is promising. Continue to give me your time, your presence, your communication, your connection, and in turn, I will do the same. In the end, it's like he's saying, we're not just going to experience a magical moment together, but a genuine, growing, powerful relationship that leads to fruit you can never have experienced on your own. He desires that for us. That is the heart of our Father. The question we must ask ourselves is this: do I feel the same to the point that I'll take him up on this offer? I mean, in his last breaths, communication time, message, whatever you want to call it, that's what he's offering. Do we trust him enough? Do we hear him enough? Do we believe him enough to take him up on this offer, to just remain in him and live in a sustainable, growing, sometimes boring relationship? Am I going to keep treating this relationship as just a feel good, get what I want when I want it, hope drug that is so often done? Because the Old Testament does a lot, I'll do the same, I'll make it crude. Or are we going to treat him like a mistress or a side piece or an affair or a drug that we often do to make us feel good again for another moment? His heart is a growing relationship. What's ours? I believe it's an important question to ask, and here's why. It's a genuine question for us to ask as we move forward with him. Because reality is, even as we leave this place, we're going to face distractions in life. Even in the work that he's doing, we're going to face distractions, and it's going to try and pull us away. We're going to just face boring, mundane, not exciting parts of the relationship, and it's going to kick in, and we're going to wonder if there's anything going on. And at times, it's going to just feel like he's not even present when the battle is raging on. And so we're going to need to be able to ask ourselves, am I willing to trust him in this? Because the truth is, it's hard. And I get it, it's hard. Not only is it hard to actually understand this, it's hard to know how to make this happen, how to put ourselves in a place where we can experience this. And so I'm going to just share something with you that is, again, as we wrap this up today, that is so simple, but I think powerful, that I've been trying to live through even in the last few weeks. The reason I share this today, and there's going to be others who are going to share in the heart of God, is because, I'm just going to be honest, I have personally been struggling in the relationship with him. And ironically, it's because of all the good that's going on. Even last Sunday, I walked away just going, man, I'm so distracted because there's so much. I don't know if you've noticed, and I would not trade this for the world, but there's been some growth. There's been some action. There's been some activity, and it went like that, which has led us to be like, what do we do? Travis just talked about how the building was rocking on Wednesday night, and he's not kidding. The building was rocking. We were in the high school room when we heard a wall get run into, and all the kids turned and looked at him like, oh yeah, every room's being used, guys. It was loud. Awesome. It's also got us constantly going, what do we do? It's overwhelming at times, to be honest, because we're not physically ready for it all. There's decisions being made in this room on these moments to prepare for it. This is a small group for us now. Just is. Wednesday nights are there. So that was constantly in my mind. I got, because someone heard that I paint sometimes, so I got the thrill of painting the peaks along with Ashley Park. And I spent the week caught up in doing that. It was just caught up in so many distractions. Something wasn't settling right in me and in my mind. Something wasn't settling right there, and I was struggling. And as I was processing through, and actually, ironically, another opportunity that's coming up is what I was working on when this hit me. But Leanne and I are actually going to have the gift of sharing at our state convention this week in Wichita, doing a workshop. She's teaching on leadership. I'm teaching on small town ministry, which I'm basically going to tell them, just go to her lesson on leadership, and then you'll be good to go, and we're all good. But we're both getting to do that, so we're working on these things that we're supposed to be doing these workshops on, these breakout groups for a couple days on Thursday and on Friday. And already in my head I'm going, and then we got to get back for a game Friday night in time, and then we got a fifth quarter, and then we have tennis in Great Bend, and I'm stressing out on all of this, trying to get it ready to go. There were two things, honestly, where in that moment, and I'm looking at this, where he kind of gets me. where Jesus gets me. I'll share the second one in a minute. But the first one was something that I've shared with you before, because as I'm working on it, this voice started going through my head. A voice that I recognized from years past that is no longer with us physically today. But it actually made me get up in my office and walk over and look at a picture again from a moment that was impactful in my life. But thankfully, because she is good at capturing these and making them sentimental and good, she took a picture of and gave to me as a gift. But this is a picture of my mentor, honestly, in ministry, also uncle pastor when I was a youth pastor in Portland. His name's Frank Yurden. On one of the last times that I got to visit him while he was alive with his Parkinson's. And I will never forget that last trip with him. We got to go to our favorite coffee shop, which was in a different location called Jim and Patty's, which we intentionally did because when I was working there, we would go there every Tuesday together, where I got to tell him how smart I was and how dumb he was, because I just knew everything. And he would smile at me and not say much. We went to that coffee shop. We came back to the apartment that he and my aunt were living in. He decided he wanted to eat something. They're a healthy family. He wanted Carl's Jr. She wasn't going to let him. I was like, he's dying. Let's go get a burger. We went to Carl's Jr. and he ate a big old meaty burger. I've never seen him eat like that. We had that moment. Then we drove back to his place, and in fact, he sat in his chair, and at that point, he was done. He was worn out. He was just like physically, as the day would go along, he couldn't talk, like you couldn't understand him. It would just get blurred and slurred and everything because the park, like it would just wear on him, and he would just kind of close his eyes and he'd be down. So I'm just kind of sitting there going, okay, probably time for me to go. It's time for him to get a nap. I'm visiting with her a little bit, my aunt, but I thought if I could, like honestly, what went through my head was this could be the last time that I see him. Like it really could be. That's why I was out there. So I kind of woke him up, or I didn't know if he was sleeping. I didn't know what he was doing because you just couldn't tell at the time. I just said, hey, if there's one last thing you could share with me, what would it be? Like if there's one last piece of advice you could give me, because now I'm smart enough to know I don't know it all, and he was pretty smart. And I did want to hear what he had to say. And honestly, he just laid in his chair, or he sat in his chair, and his head was just down, and he's just kind of drooped over, and he's there. And my first thought was, yeah, he's asleep. Like he's not going to get up. And so I looked at my aunt and was like, okay, I think I'm going to go. And I kind of said a goodbye, like, if you can hear me, goodbye. And he just kind of looks up finally, like he opens his eyes and he looks up. And so since he's awake, I took advantage again, like, hey, I asked you something like, hey, if there's anything that you could share with me, what's one last thing that you could share with me? What's one last thing that you would like for me to know? And I will just never forget the moment, because this guy who was so weak that he's laying there, was barely able to walk, barely able to talk, took a moment to literally push himself up out of his chair and look at me, and in the clearest voice he'd had all day, just pointed the finger and just said what's written on the bottom of that. Keep the main thing the main thing. And I remember looking at him kind of going, is that it? And he just kind of goes, and then sat back down, closed his eyes, and went back to sleep. That was it. That voice went through my head again this week when I had that moment of stress and panic and realized something is not right here. Something is not right here. I'm anxious, I'm struggling, I'm trying to figure all this out. It was like I could hear Frank Yurden, through the power of God, just go, hey, pull back. Keep the main thing here. And I realized I hadn't been, because of all the other stuff going on, which still needs to get figured out, still needs to get dealt with, but cannot be at the sacrifice of the main thing, which is a growing, daily, ordinary relationship with Him. And so what went through my head was, how am I going to do this? And I reminded myself what I want to remind you today, just a few thoughts on how we can do this. Because again, it's not like I'm going home to Him like I am Leanne, where I can see her, and I can touch her, I can feel her I can hear her. It's not like we're doing that, so it's hard. It's like, how do we do that? Well, as hard as it is, it's pretty much the same. If we want to position ourselves in a way to keep the relationship going and growing through all phases of life, it's an intentional act to just connect with Him regularly, even daily. We can't live this growing relationship with Christ if we're not going to have any connection with Him. If we want to be in a place where we're really trying to grow a relationship with Him as the heart of the Father desires, we connect with Him regularly, and I would encourage even daily. Daily time in Scripture and meditating on that Scripture. You know why? Because this is still the number one way He talks to us. This is why it's been preserved. These different thoughts that we think He's sharing with us will line up with this. This is how we know and have a better idea. Is this from Him, or is this something else that's being shared out there? This is that testing of the Spirit's opportunity that we've been given. We want to live in relationship with Him. We connect with Him by, first of all, listening to what He has to say through His life, through His Word, hearing His heart regularly, even daily. We spend our day just walking through the day having conversation with Him. Again, I know we look like a crazy man. I don't know how many times I've looked crazy on a walk with the dog where I'm talking to nobody, but I'm talking to Him. And now I've gotten to a place, I was telling somebody the other day, silence is golden. I hardly listen to anything, very rarely, because it's nice just to be quiet and to hear. And He speaks through things. That moment just knew. That's Him reminding. But if we don't take the time to stop and even connect, just like in our own relationships, those of us that are married, those of us that have families, those with kids know that there's no communication and regular connection, the relationship's going to struggle. It's no different with Him. But on top of that, develop special moments with Him as well. Getting to do premarital counseling for couples, I love how many couples grew up in the same example I did of their parents having a regular date night together, where the parents would go and just have special moments away out of the regular daily, willing to hire a babysitter to come in and take them so that they could go and be away, because there's something powerful in it, because again, life is life. And in the same way, it's good to have date nights or date days or whatever you want to say with God. You guys have teased me before because I've made fun of it, but I like getting foot massages from the guys in the mall. And they got a new one there. He presses hard. It's good stuff. No, it's a she. It's good stuff. You want your foot pressed on? Go see her and ask for the woman. He's kind of a wimp. But go ask for her because she presses hard and it feels so good. He's too nice. I honestly, you know why I like to do it? I'll usually take a book, or until I fall asleep, it's a chance just to get away. Nobody's going to bug you because out of respect, they know you're getting your foot massaged. Nobody talks to you. You hear the sound of mall music playing. It's especially great during Christmas time. And you hear all that stuff going on, and it's just you, and you get to have like a special moment. But also, that's what this is. It's a date. You're stopping your regular routine and stuff going on to go have a date time with God by coming and being together with this family here in these services. That's why it's important. It's not making you more saved or not. It's helping grow the relationship because you're having a date. You're having a special moment. But it's important to have those. It's important that we put aside, or at least make secondary, the sources of distractions in our lives. And that can be in those regular communicating times, or whether it can be during these times. But there's times where we just put, I shared this with the kids the other night. I don't know if we realize it, but on an average, we spend 2 to 3 hours a day in front of a screen of some sort. Not work screen, leisure screen. That's why the point they were making was it's crazy when we say, I don't have time for God. We're like, we got 2 to 3 hours on this screen or the big screen that's there. We have time. We're just choosing to go to the distraction that's out there. And I read a deal with our young people on the phone from the founder of Facebook, first president of Facebook, who said, we intentionally designed this to do that, to distract you, because if we got your attention, we get your money. He's come out and shared it. It's not a pastor. It's not an anti-technology guy. I'm not anti-technology. It's the first president of Facebook that said, we know as hackers how to give you a little dopamine, how to do this. And so we have to be intentional about putting that aside. Because again, think about your own relationship. Think about your marriage. Think about your relationship with your kids. If your child's trying to come talk to you and you're always staring at something else, how strong is that going to get? If your spouse wants time with you, and you're even there, but you're just flipping through your phone the whole time while they're trying to talk, how's that going to go? Put aside the distractions, or at least make them secondary. Hang out with other people who are seeking to grow their relationship with Him. Hang out with your church family. Hang out with some friends that have the same desire. Have a group date together. Talk about what's going on in your life. Have those moments. Let Him know how much you adore Him in worship. Man, if you're with your significant other, listen, there's moments where you let them know how much you adore them physically. Whether a hug, or we'll stop there, a kiss, whatever. That's what worship is. Is a reminder to Him that, man, you're awesome. You're amazing. I love you. Your love for me. And then go out and carry out His heart by serving the people that He loves and serves Himself. These are just simple little things that if we will make those intentional practices in our lives, we set ourselves up in such a way to grow through the normal, the regular, the mundane, the daily, the boring parts of even life that just continues to grow the relationship to the point that we don't even know it's happening. It's just a drip, drip, drip in our lives that is growing something that we don't realize till 5, 10 years down the road is stronger than it was before. Is it super exciting and magical like a big concert and a powerful, amazing moment? No. But it's real. And it's sustainable. And it's long-lasting. That's the heart of our Father. As the worship team comes up to close us, I want us to just consider that. And I want to ask you, I'm going to share one more, so I don't want to put the words up yet. I have one more passage of Scripture I want to show them here, okay? Just giving you a heads up on there. I want to ask you, are you willing to be part of that relationship? Actually take these intentional steps. Because again, even those steps are not super exciting. I probably could have chat GPT'd them and given you some exciting way to say all those. But I didn't want to. Because it really is that simple. Taking these intentional steps, these decisions every day without even knowing it, is building a sustainable, long-lasting, growing relationship with the God who wants to walk closer each and every day, because that's the heart of the Father. Listen, He just wants time with you. Genuinely just wants time with you. The other thing that got my attention that made me realize this was actually with her. A couple weeks ago, she was out of town. If you remember, I was wifeless for a while. So it was a lot of me and Morgan time. She was thrilled about it. Those of you with kids right now, I mean, Friday and Saturday night in high school, whatever, maybe junior high, Friday and Saturday nights reserved for what? Anybody tell me? Well, we're getting into the sports part, but right now it's been the tracks, going out, hanging out, being with friends, which is not a bad thing most of the time, unless we just don't know. It's good to go and just go and hang out. That's what it's kind of been reserved for. These ladies have been out there together. You see them running through your yard. They're just playing a game. They didn't steal anything, okay? Apparently it's called the Running Man or something. Yeah. If you see them trip, just take a picture and we'll show it on a Sunday morning. They're out there. They're having a good time. She'd been out a few times that week because school, I think it might have been when school hadn't started, whatever it was, she was able to go out more than usual. And I think it was either Friday night or Saturday night came around, and I knew it was coming. And she kind of came with her little, hey, I'm going to go out. It's not even a question anymore. I'm going to go out. So that's a discussion we're having. I'm going to go out. I tried to use all of my normal excuses. Is your room clean? Is the bathroom clean? Can I get to the sink? Can I whatever? And unfortunately, she'd actually done them all because she knew it was coming this time, where I had no more excuse. But there's a part of me also going, no, I don't want you to go out tonight. Again, if you got children, you know by now what the next thing is. But why I don't get to do anything. And now we're in our last year. So guess what it is? This is my last year to everything. Just tugging on the heart. I still said no. Like, no, not tonight. Well, what are we going to do? I don't know. Really nothing. I just don't want you to go tonight. Now, I knew why. But the truth is, I was actually too manly or fatherly to really tell her. Until a little later when she did it, she was not unhappy with me, but not happy with me. She stayed in her room. And I just finally went in and said, Morgan, let me just tell you why I didn't want you to go out tonight. I just want to be with you. I'm your dad, and I love you. And I have no other reason. That's why I couldn't give you anything. You are only going to be here a year. This is it. And sometimes I know that you want to be with your friends. They're great. We love these kids. The others that are with them, I'm not worried about any of that. But sometimes, and I don't have anything planned, I just wanted you around. Because you're my daughter, the relationship. I just wanted time and connection, communication, and presence. And I think for 5 minutes we watched a show together and she went to her room. But she was in the house. It was still enough for me. Because I just wanted her there. It's exactly how he feels about us. The heart of our Father isn't just to take us into exciting moments all the time, just to always show us these amazing things he can do. Sometimes it's just, I just want to grow in a relationship with you. Thankfully with him, we're not looking at, we've only got a year left. It's a very real thing here. But with him, we've got the rest of our lives, but that he still is like, I just want to walk in the garden in the cool of the day with you. Because my heart is for you. I'm pursuing you. You're part of my family. I just want a growing relationship with you. And when we lean into that, we get to experience the prayer of Paul, the church in Ephesus, where he says that what we will experience is that out of his glorious riches, we'll be strengthened with power through his Spirit in our inner being. And what we'll find is that relationship will grow even more and dwell in our hearts through faith. And we will be rooted and will be more established in love. And we will have the power together with everybody to grasp what we really desire to grasp. And that is how wide and long and high and deep is this love he has. Which is what every one of our hearts aches for and pursues in different ways. And we'll know the love that surpasses knowledge and be filled to the measure of the fullness of God. Not just at a camp, not just at a convention, not just at a concert, not just at an encounter, not just at a church service, but in each and every moment of each and every day as we grow the relationship, one step, one breath, one moment at a time. And then it gets a lot easier to come to a point where we go, it's your breath in my lungs. It allows me to sing, great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. He's telling you today, I don't want you to go there. I just want to be with you. Will we accept the invitation? Let's respond as we close in this last song of worship today.
Every heart
somebody, it's the breath in our lungs that lets them know how we feel about them. Because if it's grown to that place, the same thing can be true with the Father whose heart is for us. For me, I needed to hear the voice of a former pastor and mentor and have a moment with my daughter to remind me of his heart and where I'm at on that. What is it for you? Whatever it is, lean into it because his heart is for you. So God, as we walk through another week that's going to be full of distractions, it's going to be full of fun moments and boring moments, exciting moments, mundane moments. It's going to be full of just life moments, tiring moments, celebratory moments, all the stuff that we know is going to happen in this next week. I pray that you would continue to share with us what we need to hear. Remind us of your desire for a closer walk every day in a growing relationship with you. Remind us of your heart that pursues us, that just wants to be with us, and draw us to walk in that relationship with you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Have a great week. See you guys Wednesday next week.